my title says I'm talking about the news, and I'll get just to that when you guys are joining. My phone is kind of far away from me, so I'm going to be reading and responding to your comments from this phone right here. I just really enjoy the Christmas decorations around me, and I want all of you to enjoy that with me too. It's 5:30 p.m. on November 18th. Friendly reminder, please keep the chat positive and respectful of not just me, but all the other people commenting as well. My name's Adrielle, and I'm going to be also sharing out this live stream to Facebook. Everyone, check your gift box on the bottom right corner because YouTube has given away free rubies. So you might have just gotten free rubies. Hi, how are you? I have not live streamed yet today. I've had a nice day of just like decompressing, spending time with my kids, cleaning videos, and it's been very laid back and low key. I hope you're all having a good day and a good start to your week. So getting into things, I did a deep clean of my YouTube channel today. I actually told you this last week. I said there's gonna be a change to my YouTube. You guys might not like this. You might be uncomfortable with this. I wasn't comfortable with it last week, so I changed my mind. But today, I was just like, you know what? We're going into the end of 2025, so I'm just going to mass cleanse my YouTube. There's so many live streams, and I kept the ones with the cute thumbnails because I worked hard. My goal for 2026 is to have lots of nice, vibrant thumbnails and positive live streams. So, yeah. Hi, Mr. Com. Waltz, thank you for the flower. I just took a screenshot on this phone. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Yes, everyone, you might have gotten free jewels. So right before I started this live stream, well, about 15 minutes ago, I told my son the news story that I shared today on my YouTube channel, and I asked, who do you believe is at fault? And he said he believes the school district is at fault because the school district didn't have any faculty or associates out there supervising where the parents were dropping off their kids. And if you just think of this from an outsider's perspective, there were rules in place for a reason, and those rules are in accordance with laws to keep people safe. Most schools have a rule in place, like such as you can't drop kids off school off side of the street because it's a major street with lots of traffic, especially if schools aren't providing buses to students. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I got a screenshot. I'm taking screenshots on this phone. Thank you so much. Lefty, thank you, Waltz. Hold on, let me read the comments. How many of you guys saw my most recent long form video? It's about 14 minutes long. I don't know if you guys watched my video today. I put a lot of thought into it. Thank you for the floating hearts ×3. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. You watched my video. Yeah, how many of you guys watched my videos, or you just kind of discover me? Thank you for all the floating hearts on fire. They're on fire now. They're turning orange. Lefty with all the floating hearts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi, Ari. Hi, Reese. What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for all the floating hearts. They are orange. Thank you, Bree. Appreciate the positive vibes. Thank you, Dawn, for the floating heart. Everyone, comment below if you watched my long form video today. Thank you, Corinne, for the floating heart. Let me get a screenshot. I promised you guys at the beginning of this week I would put a compilation video together of all these cute gifts. Thank you, everyone. A lot of you guys got rubies, free rubies. Thank you, Dawn, for the vegan butter pecan ice cream. Mac, thank you for the makeup brush. Thank you so much, everyone. You guys are awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to be getting into it soon. For all of you who have time, comment yes or no if you watched my long form video. It's really long. I got into a lot of legal standpoints, education, special education law, accommodation, and basic morals and ethics, common sense. Like, for example, there's rules everywhere, and rules are in accordance with laws, so we stay safe. Thank you. Thank you. We got Thank you. You did not see it. Oh, you should probably go check it out. It's my most recent long form video. Thank you so much. Hi. How are you, Jerry? What's up? I hope everyone's having a good day. Who decorated for Christmas? Thank you, Dawn, for the 100. Dawn with the 100. Lefty, don't worry about it. I did some more decorating today. More of the Christmas stuff came in. So I just put like garland around my house, and I'm going to be getting candles for my windowsills and a poinsettia and some like leaves. I don't know what they're called for my dining room table. I might get a candle. I want a red like LED candle. I am terrified of real candles with fire. I don't like them. I like fake LED candles. Thank you so much, everyone. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being on my YouTube. Please subscribe and thumb up the live stream. Okay, so I don't know how to change the setting of the star. It just kind of like, I want it to be solid, but yeah, it's kind of driving me nuts. I just want it to be solid. It's like I'm at a Christmas rave. Hang on. Let me actually go to the couch and grab the remote, because this is too much. How do I just make it solid? Oh, there's like settings. That's like a twinkling setting. That's like a twinkling, 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 and fade. Oh, no. 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 Wait, is that solid? Guys, what do you like, solid or twinkle? I kind of don't mind if it twinkles. If it's like kind of glittery, that looks cool. It's kind of crooked. I already made it straight, but what do you guys think? Twinkle or solid? Comment below. Twinkle or solid? Everyone, wait, it's changing shapes again. No, I don't like that. Okay, solid it is. Solid. I hate when it changes shapes. Okay. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here live on my YouTube. I have not live streamed yet today. I've had a really busy, nice, laid back, low key day around the house with my kids. And if you missed it from the beginning, I told my son the story that I shared on my YouTube. I gave him a brief rundown, and I asked, who do you think is at fault? And he said, the school district. I said, not the bus driver? He said, no. I said, not blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, the school district. And I asked, why? He said, because they didn't have any attendance associates or supervisors outside monitoring children being dropped off to and from school. And so that gets into this discussion where we talk about rules and how rules take, hold on. Let me just check out the chat because I see, thank you, Dawn, for the heart. Yep, I'm checking to see if you guys sent gifts because you guys are so nice. Thank you, Mr. Com. Okay, let me see. How many of you guys saw my video? It's like 14 minutes long. I get into the law, especially like special education law, federal codes, accommodation, liabilities, and how it's a liability if a public school does not provide accommodation such as transportation. So there's that. Wow, you guys are so nice. There's so many people here, and I'm gonna just turn on subscriber only chat because we have to let our subscribers have the floor. So if you're a subscriber, please say hi. Who's here? Who's a subscriber? I love the new gifting feature on YouTube, and I love even more that it's the season of giving, and YouTube has given away free rubies in all of your gift boxes. Ruby, thank you for the marshmallow high. That's so cute. Everyone, tap the marshmallow high on the bottom left. Hi, Teresa, and heart react it. It'll pop out on the right. Thank you so much. So what happened in my hometown is a total tragedy. Total tragedy. And I asked my son what he thinks about it. Who does he think is at fault? And I wish a few of my regular people were here, like King and stuff like that. But please, for now, just comment yes or no if you watched my full long form video on YouTube today. It looks like this. This is the video. It's the yellow one. This is the, oh, that's the ad. It says, tragic walk to school, how New York State failed a 4-year-old. And I was immensely triggered. I was infuriated when I saw the story yesterday. When I learned even more about it, I wanted to scream. Teresa, thank you so much for the marshmallow high. Everyone, tap that purple box and heart react to Teresa's. And so my son today, when I told him the story about 20 minutes ago before my live stream, I said, who do you think is at fault? And he said the school district, because they didn't have any adults out there to enforce rules, traffic, parent drop-off, pickup, and stuff like that. So let's just talk about why rules are in place in public schools and the laws they represent. So I actually wrote down a clear and concise list, in my opinion, of all the laws that were broken in New York State and federally from that incident. And the list includes no adequate code of conduct for supervision on school grounds. And that's crazy because that's the first thing my son said. That is New York Education Law, Section 2801. Common law of duty care. Schools must prevent foreseeable harm like traffic accidents through proper oversight. Education Law, Section 3635, failure to provide safe access or accommodations, including traffic controls or transport if needed. That's the core of it. Federal violations, I'll get into that later, but let's just talk about how negligent the school district was, in my opinion, to not have oversight, to not have supervision at those drop-offs. Everyone knows in public schools, when you're dropping off your child, you're not allowed to do it off street. I know exactly which school district this was because I used to live right by that school district. And thank you so much, everyone. Oh my God, Dawn. Thank you for becoming a member. Everyone, take a moment to tap that. Oh wait, you can't heart react to it. Aw. Okay, thank you everyone so much. Teresa, Ruby, Dawn. Think about how so this school, if I could just draw a picture of it, it's on a very busy street. So the school is here, really busy street here. Traffic light a few blocks up, traffic light at the corner by the school, another traffic light. It's a very, very busy street. The street is called, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but it's off of a major highway. So like there's a big plaza with lots of grocery stores, restaurants, and Jamestown, New York has like 30,000 people, but it's really busy and congested in the morning because the public school district doesn't allow all students to receive transportation. There's eligibility requirements, and a lot of the students live within a certain range of the school. So unfortunately, they do not meet eligibility to receive transportation. So thank you so much, Dawn, again for becoming a member. And all parents know, guys, comment below, are you a mom or a dad? Or have you worked in public school? Or have you been responsible to pick someone up and drop them off in public school before? Everyone knows it's against the rules to drop the kids off right there on the street because it's really dangerous. And sometimes those rules aren't being enforced. And if parents aren't aware of the rules because the rules lack enforcement, accidents can happen. Now, I just want to emphasize, this school district does not provide transportation to the majority of its students. They're either requiring students to walk or parents to drive, or the students can ride a bike, something along those lines. Get a ride or walk. It's like pick or choose. It's really messed up. And there's no city bus available, by the way. Like it's not like the Pittsburgh train or subway in New York City or anything like that. So because of this lack of accommodation of transportation in the public school system of Jamestown, New York, there's lots of congested traffic, which is a buildup of not just parents driving their kids to school, but people driving to and from work, people driving to and from college, because there are a couple college campuses in Jamestown, New York. There's the business college, there's the community college, and there's other like trade schools and stuff a little farther out. But that street that the school is off of is a very busy street. And all of the streets around it are slammed with cars from parents dropping off and picking up their kids. And I've seen it before because I used to, again, live close by. And I know just in general, so my kids went to Jamestown Public Schools for 2 years. I lived in Jamestown with my kids for 2 years. They had gone to a public school in rural Pennsylvania up until, from 2015 up until 2022. So about 7 years, seven years or so, about 7 years. It's probably school years or a little shorter. So it was probably like kindergarten until 6th grade. So 7 school years. Yeah, that makes sense. There's always a nice clean system of transportation and organization for parents, but the school I worked for was also the school my kids went to, and they were very strict with their system they had set up. The problem with Jamestown, New York is they don't have much of a system. It's just cars driving wherever they want, dropping off their kids wherever they want, and even though the school makes rules because they claim they want to keep everyone safe, they don't have humans out there supervising to enforce those rules. Like, for example, when I worked at the public school in rural Pennsylvania, there was a crossing guard at every entrance of the driveways. So if a car were trying to skip the line and drop their kid off street, they would get yelled at by the crossing guard. The police would park in the parking lot every day to catch cars speeding and driving recklessly. And it just worked out really safely because there were so many faculty members out there. And this was Pennsylvania, by the way. And again, I just want to emphasize, every driveway entrance, so whether it was the front driveway entrance, the back driveway entrance, or even over across the street where kids, right by the corner, they would not let anyone drop off, and there was always a crossing guard. So there were always 1, 2, 3 crossing guards, and no, there were 4 crossing guards actually. Because there was another one across the street. 4 crossing guards for 1 building and a police officer every single day. Super secure, super safe, super obvious what the rules were, and very, very few accidents. I worked for that public school for almost 7 years. I never witnessed an accident, knock on wood, other than kids tripping and falling and stuff like that. But that's besides the point. Jamestown, New York, from what I've witnessed, has no humans outside. It's actually messed up. What's crazier is that the kids would wait outside with the doors locked and just kind of find their own way before the doors open. It was just super unsafe, lacking organization, and lacking a system. And so when you have this incident, this tragic incident, this fatality that took place, you have to think the way my son was thinking when I told him the story. It's the school's fault because the school wasn't out there enforcing the rules. There were no people out there to prevent these things from happening. It's parents didn't even know the rules because the rules weren't enforced. And because the rules weren't enforced, parents got in the habit of pulling over off the side of the busy roads or pulling over on the side of the road where there's also a flood of other parents, building lots of traffic around the school, and it's just a recipe for disaster. So thank you everyone who's here. I really truly believe that a news story like this would hopefully motivate the family to pursue some sort of lawsuit against the school. For sure. No, I don't, Alex. If I did, it would be faux fur because I'm vegan. I don't wear animal skin. I don't wear animal fur. No goose down and stuff like that. But thank you. They do make, Kylie Jenner and a lot of other designers and stuff like that. Most of those designers now in 2025 have done away with actual real animal skins and furs, and they just create man-made products now. But anyways, if any of you guys have an opinion on this and want to share your insight because you have questions for me and you agree with me, please go ahead and ask away. I appreciate all of you who are here watching, and ask away. I also ordered a vegan calzone, and I'm going to be eating a vegan calzone pretty soon. Thank you for being here, guys. Everyone, remember to thumb up the live stream and comment if you're here. We've got MVP top left. Everyone click that crown MVP. We have Lefty, Dawn, Waltz, Teresa, and Ruby. There is a GoFundMe connected to this story that is helping support the family. I shared the link probably 6 times. Thank you, Dawn. I shared the link probably 6 times on my Facebook today, and I would just encourage them to raise as much as they can to get an attorney and pursue legal action against the school district who needs to be held accountable, because at the end of the day, that's just one. Let's actually research how many schools are in that city of Jamestown really fast. Thank you again so much. Thank you, Dawn, for the vegan Sunday again. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Let me see really quick how many schools are in Jamestown, New York public schools. 8, 9. So there's 5 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and a high school. And then there's like a couple tech schools. So there's 8, 9, 10, 11 schools in total in the city of Jamestown, New York. So this is just an example of one instance. But today and tomorrow and the future to come is going to still continue operating along the same system that neglects to enforce the rules of traffic and student drop-off pickup lines. Thank you, Chrissy, for the floating heart. Appreciate you. So what are your thoughts on all of this? And this is a story, again, that's been widespread all throughout the news, all news sources, and I really, really just have one piece of criticism for news sources that have been sharing this story. It would have been very compassionate and kind for those news sources to use their platform and share the GoFundMe, share the family's GoFundMe. Hi, Lemon. Thank you. My hometown is Jamestown, New York. I was born in Omaha, Nebraska. I moved out of Jamestown when I was, 24 years old, and raised my kids in rural Pennsylvania. I moved me and my kids to Jamestown for 2 years in 2022. Let me keep reading. But Lemon, just to enforce one more, or just to how do I say this? One more thing though, even if I weren't from Jamestown, I would still have this same opinion and I would have shared that same educational video, because a child lost their life and this, in my opinion, the school is to blame. Lemon says, Adrielle's from Jamestown. Is she not? She's allowed to talk about this. Anyone can discuss this, and people are all over the news and internet. And this is a really sad story. I agree completely. Lots of people are talking about this. It's unfortunate that the news stations covering this haven't shared the GoFundMe, because that would have been very helpful towards the family. I saw a post about this after I shared so many videos today. Right in my newsfeed, there was a post with like 7,000 likes, and I clicked the caption to read what the news wrote, and unfortunately they did not include the GoFundMe link. So it's a little sad. Becker, yeah, I shared a long form video today. Thank you so much, Luke. Oh my God. That is the first time I've gotten the beautiful Thanksgiving. Thank you. If you want to comment, guys, remember to subscribe. That means follow me and thumb up the live stream. Tap Luke's gift box and heart react to it. You can tap the gift box and tap the heart on the bottom right. Luke, thank you. That was so pretty. I just took a screenshot. I'm going to be making a compilation video of all these cute gifts. You guys are awesome. And YouTube, it's the season of giving. YouTube is giving away free jewels that turn into rubies in your gift box. If you are in the United States, you have a gift box on YouTube. If you're not in the United States, you don't. And the gift box might have a balance. Luke, what's your zodiac sign? Thank you so much. Love you too. You guys are the best. And it's like kind of far away. Thank you, Dawn, for the hundreds. Dawn with the hundreds. You guys are great. Thank you so much. I had my frustrations that I expressed when I was living in Jamestown, New York, because I saw how dangerous it was. That one, there was no busing. Thank you, Dawn. One, that there was no busing system for students. And number two, the total chaos, the chaotic traffic that came about because there was no transportation system or any system whatsoever. It was very messy. Like, for example, when I used to drive my kids to school in Jamestown every day, they went to school there for two years, the cars would be driving on the wrong side, like facing, like they would be in the wrong lane of traffic. They would be pulling over off street on the wrong side of the street. So like they would be driving this way but want to park across the street to drop their kid off. And it would just like, cars would almost crash every single day. Like that's how crazy it was. Paired with the fact you had small children walking to school through horrendous weather conditions in very little clothing. A lot of the kids weren't wearing winter coats. And it just seemed horrible. I felt so bad when it would be freezing rain and I would see kids walking to school getting drenched, sopping wet. And the worst part, and I shared this story back in like 2022 on TikTok, was when the kids would be walking through the freezing rain, they would get to school and the school would keep the doors locked until the bell rang. The kids would get to school maybe 5 minutes early and the school would just keep them outside, locked outside. It's just sick and twisted, so sick and twisted. There was no awning, no roof, nothing. They'd just be standing outside there in the pouring rain. And the people who, you're in Aquarius, the people who worked in the school would just stand by the door and watch the kids out there and just, like, it was just so barbaric. And I understand that it might not be, again, a legal issue, but it, again, ties into morals and ethics. I just feel it's immoral and wrong to make children walk when we can accommodate them. It's also a liability when we don't accommodate them in public schools because of gray areas in federal legislation, such as Individuals Disabilities Educational Act, and meeting those accommodations such as transportation, because you never know if a student has a disability until they're diagnosed. And if you have been neglecting their needs and neglecting to meet their accommodations up until a certain point, that can backfire on you. And so I've noticed, thank you, Luke, so much for the pumpkin pie. Everyone tap that purple box in the bottom left corner, top right. Thank you, KP. You can check out my educational video that I posted today, also sharing the news. This is coming from my experience with special education law. I took secondary education courses at the University of Pittsburgh for 2 years. I also worked in public school for about 7 years, and I have not live streamed yet today. So I'm very interested to see how all of you feel about this. So if you're here, comment below. Luke, you are so sweet. Thank you so much. It's just all about the children and meeting their needs and accommodating them, because isn't that why people grow up when they're kids and they say they want to grow up to be a teacher to help people, or I want to grow up and be a principal to help people? Isn't that why you make that into your career? Like, I just wish that for a second, all the people who are operating this public school district could rewind back to when they were a child. Maybe they wanted to be a firefighter. Maybe they wanted to be a police officer. Maybe they wanted to be a pop star singer like Britney Spears in the 1990s. But if for a second they were to have considered looking back at their 5-year-old self and they were asked, would you ever be a teacher? Whether they would have said yes or no, their impression of being a teacher should always be to make children happy, to have fun learning, and to make everyone feel safe. And it's really sad that instead of just helping people feel safe and creating a system that works, like the system did, thank you! Oh my God, a turkey! I am like astounded, Luke, that I have not seen the vegan Thanksgiving turkey. Everyone, please tap Luke's gift box and heart react to it. You used to teach special education children how to swim and play in the pool. That is amazing. I love it. Literally, that is the best thing ever. I never worked in the pool, area ever. So like the first year I worked in public schools, I was substituting, and I never went in the pool or anything of the sort. But I can only imagine like how much of an impact you had. And that is the type of person, those are the type of people we need working in public schools. Gumballs wanted to be a teacher when you were little. I used to say I wanted to be a psychologist when I was a kid. That went on for like years. Chrissy, thank you. That's awesome, Rob. I love to hear that. So comment below, yes or no, did you see my long form video sharing the news story from my hometown and my educated opinion pertaining to special education law, federal law, state law? I even got into more on this live stream earlier if you want me to repeat myself. Hi, Cassandra, how are you? So before I started this live stream, my son, he's 15 years old, I asked him who he thought was at fault. I shared the story, and I'll share the story with all of you if you missed my video. Per the news, all the news articles talking about this shared the same story, so I'm going to just base it off the news. Per the news, yes, I shared the GoFundMe. Oh. Wait, Clean Sweets was that, they were being nice. I don't know how to unmute them. Oops. How do I unmute them? I thought I just unmuted them. Lemon, we read it too fast. They were actually being nice. Thank you for the pumpkin. What is that? The pumpkin on my head. Thank you, Luke, for all the amazing holiday gifts. Barbara, thank you for the flower. Everyone, tap the pumpkin head that Luke sent. You guys are so sweet. Heart react to it. They do have a, oh, are you looking at the chat history? They do have a GoFundMe. I didn't know that they had a GoFundMe when I made the video this morning until I did a little research. And so I edited the caption on my video and included that GoFundMe link and encouraging the community to help the family allocate legal resources to pursue a federal and state court case against the school district, because in my opinion, thank you, Cassandra. Oh my God, Cassandra, thank you for the party hats. Cassandra with the party hats. Christy, that's very true. If you guys missed the story, I can tell it what I read on the news. So according to the news, I'm going to give you a little history though. The school district does not provide transportation. So all of the schools, there's like 11 schools in total, 3 middle schools, 5 elementary schools, a high school, and some like tech schools. The schools are really congested with traffic in the morning, erratic drivers, it's people speeding and driving recklessly, which is crazy because the majority of people driving are parents. Frankie, thank you for the 100. The majority of people who are driving recklessly are parents, but it gets very crazy and congested in the Jamestown public schools. So this is the story. So the school district does not provide buses, which means parents have to drive students, which means there's a ton of traffic, which leads to road rage, because you have to remember they're sharing the streets with other people in the city, and there's like 29,000 people in the city. I mean, I can like Google how many students attend Jamestown public schools, and all of this is coming straight from the heart and from a place of sincerity. I am genuinely so infuriated by the story that I have to get it off my chest. So there's about 4,500 students. Let's see how many faculty there are, because there's also faculty driving. Could be around 500. Could be around 500. So we're gonna say there's like 4,500 students, 500 employees. So it's about 5,000 people driving to a school in Jamestown, New York in the morning between 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. And the traffic is crazy because there's actually a lot of people driving around to college, to work, to the gym, to the grocery store. And unfortunately, what I read on the news is that a couple of parents were dropping their 4-year-old daughter up, and after she got out of the car, I don't really know how, I don't know what it looks like, right? Like, I don't know what side of the street she was on. I'm just assuming she was in the premises of the school property. She ran back to give her father a hug and was hit by a bus from a different school district, went to the hospital, and she unfortunately did not make it. And I told this story to my son, and he said that the school district is responsible because there were no adults out there enforcing rules of how the system of parent drop-off should operate. You know, it's against the rules for parents to pull over on the side of the street and drop off kids because there's so much busy oncoming traffic, whether it's parents leaving, parents coming, traffic. The school bus was from a different school district called Panama School District. That's about like 20 minutes outside of Jamestown. And yeah. And so I'm spreading awareness to the subject because a lot of people are just allowing the school district to apologize. Oh, I missed the screenshot. Thank you, Ruby. A lot of people in that community are just so complacent that they're allowing the school district to just apologize and move on without any sort of investigation, without any sort of accountability, without anything in check. Like, okay, where were your faculty members to instruct the flow of traffic, to guide traffic, to enforce traffic rules the way it's supposed to be? That's how it's supposed to be. I worked in public school for, like I said, about 7 years. There's always, like I said, a small school, 4 crossing guards and a police officer every day to make sure children weren't getting dropped off on the main road, to make sure that if children were walking to school, all traffic stopped and that they were crossed with a crossing guard. Yes, KP. Yes. It is definitely the school district. Again, thank you, Ruby and Gumballs. Thank you, Luke, for the floating heart. That's not true. That's a rumor. Thank you, Cassandra. This was the tree we got last year. It's red with white frosted tips. Thank you, Elle. Thank you for everyone. I'm going to actually do a quick poll. Thank you, Cassandra. They're on fire. I'm going to do a quick poll and just see how many of you who saw the story in my 14-minute video today. It's a news story. Did you see the story? I just want to know how many of you watched it because I put a lot of time into that video researching and just retaining all of my education from special education when I worked in public schools, my education from University of Pittsburgh. Thank you, Luke. Yeah, everyone, thumb up the live stream. And thank you for keeping the chat positive for those of you who are still here. Okay, so not a lot of people watched it, and it's pretty unfortunate that this happened. You know, a lot of people are excusing this, and they're saying things like, oh, it was a freak accident. Oh, nobody wanted it to. Of course not. Of course not. You know what I mean? Nobody wants these things to happen. When you forget to put a wet floor sign up and an elderly man falls, breaks his hip and fractures his spine and can't move for the rest of his life, you don't want that to happen. But at the end of the day, you have to follow rules to be in accordance with the federal laws that you're in a contract with to keep. You have to abide by your duties. Thank you, Luke. You get what I'm saying? And so it's just really sad to see an entire community of people giving a school district a free pass instead of fighting for that little girl's justice. Because thank you, Lemon. Because if the school district got away with slacking and being lazy, if the school got away with being negligent once, they'll continue to do it. It's not even a slap on the wrist. They didn't even receive a slap on the wrist. They just got away with it. And they're going to keep getting away with it until someone gets hurt. And someone dying isn't enough for them to change their system and start following the law. It is in accordance to the law. And that is where I shared all of the state laws that, in my opinion, the public school had broken. Number one, New York Education Law Section 2801, no adequate code of conduct for supervision on school grounds. School grounds. Not anymore. Not anymore. Number two, common law duty of care. So schools must prevent foreseeable harm like traffic accidents through proper oversight. So if they, for example, so this is how the school's set up. Huge busy street, back of the school, front entrance of the school. Here, let me get rid of this. And this is where all the parents, so I wish I could like draw a picture. So I'm gonna actually do that right now. I don't know if I have Procreate on this phone. I do. So this is how the school is set up, and I'm gonna just draw a quick picture on my phone here. Okay. Why does it look like that? Hang on, it's like, so the school is, okay, so this is a block. Okay, that's too thick. Hang on. Here's a block. Actually, I'm gonna draw it like this. No, I'll draw it. I wish I had like a bigger screen. Block. Parking lot. Okay, we'll just put, I'll make that green. So it's like the parking lot will be green. Oh, it's not green, it's black. Hang on. Green and brown. The school needs to be held accountable at the end of the day. Thank you, Lemon. We'll just say like, if they go this way. And they'll make it black again for the street. All right, this is what it looks like for the most part. Okay, so this is the school. Behind the school is the parking lot, and that's where children enter. So it's kind of weird because they don't enter through the front. They enter through the back. And this is like a circular driveway. So parents are supposed to enter through this side street. So like this is the really busy street. This is the really busy street. Like this street gets really busy. There's like, it's off, like this way there's a main highway. This way there's a main highway. It's busy. Or not a main highway. This is a main street. This is a highway. This is a really busy street. Anyway, so a lot of the traffic comes from here, from that highway. And they turn right. They turn into the parking lot. And then they loop out, come back, and go that way. I don't think that there's an entrance here, but a lot of parents would be in the habit of just pulling over, dropping off their kids, and breaking the rules because, again, there was no oversight. There was always, I think, a crossing guard here. There's a street light here. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me correctly. I don't know. It was just a few days ago, Jeff. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. I remember a crossing guard here. Or maybe I have it backwards. Maybe there's a light here and a crossing guard here. Either way, like if I could just draw the school I worked at, there would have been like crossing guard here, 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 back there. Maybe there were 5 if my memory serves me correctly. There was a police officer here in his car pulling people over, driving recklessly. There's no oversight. One crossing guard. I don't know, KP, but whether the child was hit here, 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 or here, it's the school's responsibility because of this law right here yeah, sure. Hang on. I'll come right upstairs. My daughter just got a lot of her Christmas decorations. Lemon, are you here? Can you check out the chat and moderate for me while I go check out her new decorations? She did really good yesterday, and I can't wait to see how it looks today. I'll be right back. Woo, my legs. Yeah, I've never seen these type of lights before. I'm excited. Do you have your light on or is it off? Really? It's like a roll like that? You want me to open it? Okay, put some more lights. Wow. I might get more. Would you rather have more lights than the pillow or the tree? Really? Do they light up? The ones you showed me and put in the cart? Okay, I'll look at it later. Love you. It looks beautiful. Wow, she did a really good job. So she used sticky tack. I bought this sticky tack a couple months ago for my room. That's how she. Thank you, Lemon. That is exactly the street that I was concerned about. Oh, do they come with a remote? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's like a fairy room. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what I was concerned about. So that would have been here. And unfortunately, they're violating this law right here and being negligent by not conducting supervision or providing oversight. So these are the laws they're breaking, in my opinion. Clearly, I say opinion from what I've researched, according to my research. There was no adequate code of conduct or supervision on school grounds. And again, because it's their responsibility to oversee the traffic of the parents, they were negligent in that regard, in my opinion. And then they failed to provide safe access or accommodations, including traffic controls or transport if needed. So one, they failed to provide transportation, which made the traffic out of control and dangerous. And that's the school's liability. That's their responsibility. Imagine like if you book a reservation to have a birthday party at some country club and it's like maximum 200 guests and like there's zoning laws for that reason. You know what I mean? There's zoning laws. And you bring like 1,000 people, you know what I mean? Like that breaks the rules. It's your responsibility to have security at the door and say, sorry, we're at max capacity. Come back when your phone buzzes. Like they do at Applebee's, for example. And thank you so much, Lemon. I'll get to that piece of criticism soon, but let me just finish this thought I'm having because I'm using an analogy. So it's in the same sense, the school district's responsibility to maintain traffic and control traffic for the safety of all people around the school. All people, all pedestrians, all parents driving, all bus drivers, all faculty members, all students, anyone. It's their responsibility. And it's kind of like a bar. If a bar has a dangerous guy who's belligerently drunk and they're not kicking him out, and now, next thing he is a liability and the bartender's a liability if the bartender doesn't kick him out. Oh, Lisa, it's just a matter of fact, when schools provide free public transportation, the majority of students are going to be bused for convenience and safety. No parents want to drive amidst 7 a.m. traffic and jam up even more traffic when there's safe, clean, organized bus routes. It's just a better, cleaner, safer system to prevent accidents, especially in cities and especially in areas like this where it gets very congested. So here's the setup. This is the front of the school, but parents are required to drop the kids off at the back of the school. So the major highways over here, most people come up this way on this major street that Lemon mentioned above. They turn left right here, and they turn left into the parking lot, loop around and come back, which makes a crazy line of traffic. And it's very congested. If there were buses, this congestion of traffic wouldn't happen. And like amidst all this traffic, there's lines of cars that include not parents, not teachers, not students. It's just people driving to and from work or college and stuff like that. And so that creates road rage and stuff like that, and it gets really messy. So again, there's not enough oversight to enforce the rules because parents are in the habit of breaking the rules by I saw it all the time. Parents would just pull over right here and their kids would walk. And that's against the rules, and the school didn't enforce the rules. And unfortunately, because the school was negligent, a child got hit by a car and died. It's the school's fault. The school's to blame, in my opinion. There's no way around it. It's not about the proper time to drop them off. It's the proper place. If you have hundreds of parents pulling over on the side of this busy street to let their kid out of the car, and the school is negligent to enforce the rules, the appropriate place, it's only a matter of time until someone gets hit. And unfortunately, since this little community is giving this public school district a free pass, that mistake is going to happen again and again, and kids are going to keep getting hit by cars. That's the fucking truth. And that's the truth that people don't want to hear. The truth is the school is to blame. They are responsible. They lacked oversight. They lacked supervision, and someone died as a result. And it's really pathetic to see so many people sit complacently instead of dissent, criticize, and stand up against this negligent institution to fight for that little girl's justice and the safety of other children. But again, this is coming from a town that is completely out of control. And that's exactly, if that's true, and the family doesn't go after the school, that would be exactly the reason why the school would get a free pass. If that family doesn't hold the school accountable, the school has gotten a free pass. Because truly, the only people who could go after the school would be the family. No, it was terrible oversight, lack of supervision, and terrible negligence. Quit putting a Band-Aid over a tragedy. Is someone's life really worth it? Do you want more kids to get hit by cars and die because the school district lacks oversight and supervision? Do kids deserve to get hit by cars and die because a school is set up with lazy, negligent employees who lack oversight and supervision because they don't want their fucking hair to get wet? Is it really worth it? What did the school do wrong? They didn't enforce rules. Rules keep us safe. Parents can't be aware if they don't know what the rules are. That's why you need repetition. You need someone out there and police every day instructing parents where to drop off their kids, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, what's going to work and what's going to get you a ticket. And it's really easy to enforce rules if you have a police officer there conducting traffic. That's what happened. That's what it was like for me when I was working in public school. The police were there every day, right there at the corner. The chief of police, every day. Every day the chief of police would sit right there in the corner parking lot, wait for cars to drive recklessly or break the rules. And if they did, he put his lights on and pulled them over. And if parents pulled over in the wrong spot, an adult, whether it was a crossing guard or the police officer or a teacher, would tell them, you're not allowed to do that. You cannot do that again or you're going to get a ticket. And then the teacher would escort the student into the building, or the crossing guard would. But there were always heads outside. There were always people outside. I used to do dismissals. Yeah, gumballs. Right, but they were in the wrong place. They were dropping the child off on a busy street, and it's not their fault because the school was responsible to correct their actions and show them the appropriate place to drop off the child. The fault lies on the school. The parents aren't to blame. If parents are in the habit of pulling over off the side of a busy street to drop off their kid in a busy traffic zone, and the school is allowing it and they're not enforcing their rules, their school is basically saying, oh, it's okay to break the rules. It's okay if someone dies. Thank you, Luke. I watched it happen all the time too, and I hated it. It's not like that here. It's not like that here. It's not like that. It wasn't like that in Buffalo. It wasn't like that in rural PA. It was like that in Jamestown. Here, maybe it's just a Pennsylvania thing. They're very, and no, because in Buffalo, it wasn't like that either. There was always appropriate parking spaces. It is the school's fault because the school lacked oversight. They violated, in my opinion, state laws. And I've already showed you the state laws they violated, but in case you missed it. In case you missed it. There was no adequate code of conduct for supervision. The school must prevent foreseeable harm like traffic accidents through proper oversight. Failure to provide safe access or accommodations, including traffic controls or transport if needed. You know who randomly runs out of vehicles in the middle of the street? Kids, when they get dropped off of a fucking school bus. You should treat all avenues of the premises as if a school bus or a car is about to have a child sprinting out of it. This street, this street, this street, that street, and that street. All of this is the school's responsibility. No, it's unfortunate if people don't seek justice through seeking legal counsel. In my opinion, the family needs to seek an attorney and file a lawsuit against the school district. Federal and state. How could it have been stopped? So if you go to the school's website and search somewhere, most schools have these rules either in the agenda that they send home on the first day that you sign, or you don't sign. Sometimes it's just in the agenda, or it's on the website. So the school has rules for themselves too. There's supposed to be people out there at all times. They're supposed to be, supposedly, but there weren't. Because if there were, traffic would have been stopped. See, the problem is if there were, the parent wouldn't have been allowed to pull over on the side of the street like that. The person would have come up to their window and said, keep going, keep going. They wouldn't have let them pull over like that. No, it is their fault because they should have had proper oversight and supervision to stop traffic when they saw the parent. They should have waited until until the child was on the grass. Teachers should be required to be outside, but unfortunately they're not in Jamestown, ever. They're lazy. They sit in the building and look out the window and wait for the bell to ring, and they keep the kids locked outside. All of the schools, they keep them locked outside. No, Ashley, the crossing guards were at the intersection if there was one. I just remember seeing one crossing guard, but that was years ago. Megs, maybe there should have been police. It's their premises, it's their property. One, it's already enforced because there's a blinking light that says you have to drive 20 miles per hour in a school zone. One. Two, there's crossing guards who should be alert of all students at all times. Three, there should always be a replacement for the crossing guard if the crossing guard has to leave their post, and that's usually a teacher. So I'll draw a picture and give you a really nice system that's set up from the school I worked at. Now this one's a little complicated because there were lots of crossing guards, lots of streets. I'm gonna just draw a hypothetical school, okay? I'm just gonna draw a hypothetical school. Pretend there's a school here and part of the building here. Pretend there's a here, 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 here. And okay, pretend this is a school. It's a big school, a couple buildings, and there's a crossing guard here at the corner street. There's a crossing guard across the street. There's a crossing guard here at the entrance to this driveway, a crossing guard here, entrance to this driveway, crossing guard here, and a crossing guard here. And a crossing guard over here at this intersection. There's always like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crossing guards. And for any crossing guard, so say a crossing guard is here, but a parent pulls over here to drop off their kid. This crossing guard has to wave that car down. So the teacher standing within proximity to the crossing guard will watch, or the teacher will walk over to the car and say, hey, you have to keep going. You have to go to the driveway. So that is a clean setup where, one, you have to prevent it from happening by reinforcing the rule and telling parents you can't do that. Zero tolerance. I don't care if she gets out now and it's safe. You're not allowed to do it. That's what the city of Jamestown, New York is lacking. Parents are just feral and they will, because they can be. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. The craziest thing is the middle school my kids went to had required the kids to get dropped off on the side of the street and not the front of the building. Like they weren't allowed, like they could, but they really recommended, which was totally crazy now that I think about it. So there were all these designated doors for each grade. There was a 5th grade door, a 6th grade door, a 7th grade door, and an 8th grade door. And the 7th and 8th grade doors were in the back of the building, so they would make you drive to a side street to drop off the kids. And that's just now in hindsight breaks their rules because it's literally their rules. You're not supposed to drop kids off the street. You're supposed to do it on school property. Right, Chrissy. And this city is so horrible. The city of Jamestown is horrible. It's horrible. It lacks any governing. And they have no rules. It's like, it doesn't, no, the child was not dropped off properly. None of the children in Jamestown are dropped off properly because the school allows parents to pull over on the street and let their kids out onto the street where there's traffic, and then they walk to the school. That's not how it's supposed to be, but the school breaks their own rules and gets parents in the habit of this, which causes accidents. It's not the parents' fault that they dropped her off properly. It's the school's fault because they break their own rules every day. The bus was from Panama School District in Panama, New York, which is like 20 minutes away. Correct. No, there's no buses in Jamestown. Like, I would argue 80% of the kids either walk or parents drive. Because according to what my experience is and the internet says, kids living within 2 miles of the school have to walk or a parent has to bring them. So it's a fuck ton of parents driving the kids to school. SJ, that would make her a stronger court case in federal court. Because if the school said that the parents dropped off the kid properly, even though it was on the busy street, that is an admission of guilt that they're not enforcing their rules, which goes back to what I was saying. Hang on. There's no adequate, where'd it go? Code of conduct for supervision on school grounds. Schools must prevent foreseeable harm like traffic accidents. And if the school is saying, oh yeah, pull over on the busy street, you're allowed to do that. That is not preventing foreseeable traffic accidents. And she did that, Brenda, because the school allowed parents to drop their kids off on a busy street when they could have enforced and directed parents. Are you guys stupid? I'm sorry. Are you stupid? Please, next time you bring, like, I don't even want to say it. That's because they're saying, yes, pull over on the busy street. Why would you do that when there's a parking lot designated for parent drop-off? This is the back of the building where students enter. Why the hell would you drop a kid off here on a busy street and then they would walk all the way to the back? That doesn't make sense. And why would the school allow it every single day? The fucked up thing is the school's going to keep allowing it because they're not being punished for their actions. What they're doing is against the law. It's not the parents' fault. It's really not the parents' fault because they didn't know they were breaking the rules because the school didn't. Am I just going in a circle? Does anyone understand what I'm saying? Comment yes. Jamestown, New York. Where was the child dropped off on the diagram? On the busy street. I'm assuming, which was like right here, right around here. That's what Lemon said. Because this is the main street and this is the intersection, I believe. Let me Google it really quick. Hold on. I'm gonna just go open my maps. Lemon, do you understand what I'm saying? I don't understand how these people are like that hard-headed, or are they just dumb? Like, do you have no basic human instincts? Do you have like no concept of what I'm saying? It's actually frustrating that people are just so dumb. Hang on. I'm trying to find it to double check that street. That's what I'm saying, Ashley. They allowed it every day. Thank you, Ashley. My God, these people aren't understanding what I'm saying, Ashley. It's driving me nuts. Hang on, I'm looking for the city. I can't even find Jamestown on a map. Where's Jamestown? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, I'm looking at the intersection real quick. All right, here we are. Yeah, I was right. It was that intersection. Here. You know what? I'll just take a quick screenshot and bleep out the street names just because I'm weird. Because at the end of the day, like, how do I bleep this out? Perfect. This is perfect. All right, I just took a screenshot of just the Earth map so you guys can get a better gist of things. Again, this is just public information from the news that I'm just giving my dissent. So, all right, here we go. This is exactly what I was drawing. So this is a really busy street right here. This is the front of the school, but the children enter through this back parking lot. You kind of get what I'm saying? The child was dropped off right here at this intersection. And my memory stood corrected, Lemon. So the student was dropped off right here. I mean, people drive on the right side of the road, so I don't really know. I'm willing to bet there was no crossing guard. I'm just willing to bet. So every day, parents are supposed to follow this rule. Come here, turn right, turn into the parking lot, drop off your kid, loop around, leave, go that way, or whatever, go either way. But a lot of parents don't. They just go here. A lot of them do this. They pull over right here. I mean, you don't have to go that way. You can go that way and come back around. But anyway, a lot of the parents pull up right here. And that's not a busy street, but it's against the rules. A lot of parents pull over here. And their kids will get out and walk. I don't understand why the school just doesn't put like 8 teachers out there. They should have been doing this every day, because the more you get them in the habit of it, the less they are likely to break the rule. Put a teacher here, 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 here. So 4 teachers there, 2 teachers here, and there should also be teachers here, 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 and here. And then there should be 2 teachers back here. And then there should be a crossing guard here, 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 here. That's how it should be. And there should always be like a police officer to speed check cars. Yeah, the bus that hit the child was from a different school district. They were Panama School District. No, Ashley, it was wrong for the school to lack oversight. Can anyone just say it with me? Yes, the school lacked oversight and supervision, and that violated New York State law. Period. It's just that simple. It's their district. Their students are their responsibility. They should be treating their students like a gold genie in a bottle. They should be treating them like valuable people. They shouldn't be treating them just like farm animals that they're just making money off of. What oversight? I just explained it to you, man. Do you not know what the word oversight means? Oversight would be putting 4 teachers here, 2 teachers here, 4 teachers there, and 8 crossing guards. Thank you, Amelia. Well, no, the driver's not at fault. The school is at fault. They weren't. They never were. I've been to that school several times and I've driven past it. Why would that change anything? Because the parent wouldn't have been dropping their child off in the wrong spot. Oversight enforces rules. So again, I'm not understanding what you don't understand. Oh, there's always more than enough staff. There's always more than enough staff. When I worked at school, there were always people outside. There were always adults outside. No, it could have happened every single day up until now, and it will. The same risk applies to the future because the school is not being held accountable for being negligent. How do you guys not understand? Can you comment yes if you understand and you think I'm right? Please comment yes if you understand and you think I'm right. It's actually scary, how people don't see the law. You're just giving benefit of the doubt to a negligent school district that just cost a small child their life. As far as I'm concerned, there's no investigation, KP, because the bus driver wasn't at fault, and they just were like, oh, that's sad. and the family is accepting the school's apology. Like, what the fuck? They should extend and increase their target on GoFundMe to like $100,000 and sue the shit out of the school. No, rules are in place to prevent accidents, Alpaca Bowl. It's actually scary, like, that this is like the IQ level of the general public. No, because the parent, apparently the parents made a statement that they're not blaming the school. Like, people seriously need to encourage them to seek legal counsel ASAP, because they easily have like a $1 million lawsuit. You guys are crazy. You guys are literally, if it was your child, would you sue the school? I mean, shit. When my children went there, I was complaining about the lack of busing every single day, just because of how crazy the traffic was, how many kids I saw suffering. I mean, oh man. No, KP, I'm not doing that. I'll do a different poll. Do you comprehend what I'm saying? Anything I'm saying. See, that is so scary if people actually can't comprehend what I'm saying. If you can't comprehend what I'm saying, I just want to know, like, where can I, like, how can I dumb it down? I made a 15-minute video explaining that, number one, you don't know if the student had a disability or not, especially if the school hadn't made any outreach in accordance with federal law. Child fined, Title 34, Section B of Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Federal Law 300.111. You don't know if the student had a disability or not. Number two, if the student had a disability, the school lacked, number one, assessing for it, and number two, accommodating her transportation. But all aside, if the student did not have a disability, the school is negligent for, number one, not accommodating transportation to the students. But number two, because I feel like it takes more responsibility to not transport the students. Like, clearly, because if 90% of the students were bused, you would need less heads outside. But these people are so lazy, they don't have heads outside anyway. So they're a really lazy school district. They're very lazy. Very lazy. You don't agree with me? Well, I don't know what to say. That's a shame, because I'm right. There's no benefit of the doubt when a child dies because your institution was negligent. That's like this. That's like this. How many of you have gone to an amusement park and been on a roller coaster? How many of you have been on a roller coaster? When you go on a roller coaster, what do? You sit down. What do? You wait in line. You have to meet the height requirements. Really think about it. What happens when one of the most dangerous things that can go wrong, I think you can all agree, would be swimming and riding a roller coaster. Swimming and riding a roller coaster. Lifeguards keep their eyes on all swimmers at all times. All times. At all times. There's rules, no running. No running. No diving in certain areas. There's rules, no certain toys in the pool, depending on the pool and the rules. Sometimes pools are for all ages and there's no toys allowed for certain reasons. You have to respect the rules of the pool. And there are dividers so that people know when the shallow end gets deeper and then when the deep end merges with the kind of deeper end, there's barriers. And there's barriers from the slide. If someone goes down the slide, you have to wait in line before you can go on the slide. And there's always someone there waiting with you to make sure that two people don't go on the slide at once because they can fall off the slide and die. Or they can both land together and unfortunately have an accident. So you go one at a time. There's oversight. There's proper oversight. Not because they want that much oversight, but because they're meeting federal laws and state laws. They're in accordance with the laws. You think if a public pool, a publicly funded pool, could get away with it, they would pay less people so they could save more money? Yes, they would. But there is a state minimum number of lifeguards and attendants at all times for public swimming pools. Whether or not they have the money. If they don't have the money, they shut the pool down. It's just that simple. Now, my question is, you have state-funded public school employees sitting on their butt, standing behind the window, when they could be outside overseeing the traffic rules are followed for their premises while someone gets killed. Pure laziness. Lazy. Complete violation of federal and state code. That would be like, oh, I'm a lifeguard, but I'm gonna climb down and I'm gonna go have an ice cream cone. I'll be right back. And someone fucking drowns. Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Is the lifeguard to blame? No, their boss is to blame. Because that's probably not the first time the lifeguard climbed down to go eat a lollipop or an ice cream cone. The boss let it happen. Because the boss was overseeing their subordinates. The truth is, all of those teachers are someone's subordinate. All of those employees in the school are someone's subordinate. The principal is a subordinate of the state. Now let's talk about roller coasters. Because we've all been on a roller coaster. We've all been to a public pool. We've all either driven past a public school or dropped someone off at public school before. There are rules to be followed when you ride a roller coaster. First of all, you need a ticket. You have to meet the height requirements. You make sure you're tall enough. And there's always someone standing there to make sure you're tall enough. You have to wait in line. You wait in line for 10 minutes. It's your turn. It's not your turn. Uh-oh. All occupants have filled up the roller coaster. You have to wait. Do you squish in between your friends? Do you squish in between your friends and break the rules? Do they let an extra person on the roller coaster? No, because the roller coaster would derail and you would fucking die. So you follow the rules and all the attendants make sure of it. If the attendants weren't paying attention, kids would sneak on an extra spot on the roller coaster all the time. And kids would be falling off and flying off of fucking roller coasters. So you wait your turn again, and the roller coaster comes back. And you sit down, you pick a seat. You want the front row, but it's taken. So you sit behind the front row, and you pull the little thing down. Does the roller coaster take off? No, it doesn't. An attendant comes down and checks every single person's seatbelt all day long to make sure everyone is fastened. And they point at you and they're like, you have to put your seatbelt on. So you put your seatbelt on. And then you go on the roller coaster. And then you go on the roller coaster and you have fun. and then the roller coaster ride is over, and you get off the roller coaster. Do you go backwards in the line? No, you go out the right fucking way. These are called rules. Rules keep you safe. Rules prevent freak accidents. The reason there was a freak accident today at Jamestown Public School District is because the boss let the subordinates get away with being lazy instead of providing oversight to monitor traffic and redirect traffic to follow the proper steps and follow the rules to avoid freak accidents. So, I don't know if I was able to dumb it down for you enough, but I think I certainly did. Patricia, again, if a friend squeezes in between his friends on a roller coaster and there's no attendant overseeing how many heads are on the roller coaster and the roller coaster takes off and then the friend falls off the roller coaster, whose fault is it? Better yet, pretend there's a roller coaster and it's just two, and you're standing. You're a 15-year-old kid or you're a 13-year-old kid. And you're standing in line and you see the little kid ahead of you squeezed in between his parents. And you'd say to your friends, you're like, hey, look, we can do that. So you squeeze in between your friends and then you take off, and the kids behind you saw that, and they squeeze between their friends. And then the attendant says, kids do this all the time. It's fine. And this goes on for months, years. And then one day, a group of friends are on the roller coaster and they squeeze in together because the attendant says it's cool. The attendant says it's cool. The school thinks it's fine if we pull over on a busy street. The attendant thinks it's cool. We'll squeeze on. Then one kid falls off and dies. Just because someone lets it slide doesn't make it okay. Does not enable it or excuse it whatsoever. So, the parent didn't know they were doing anything wrong because the school said it's okay. Thank you, Patricia. Velma, that is exactly what I said, per oversight laws. A clear explanation. So this school has been allowing parents to drop their kids off wherever without following the rules, and the parents at that point didn't even know they were breaking the rules. So every day parents would just pull over on the side of the street and let their kids go to school. But the rule states drive here, turn left, drop your kids off, and then exit. And all the cars are supposed to do that. But the school was not enforcing the rules. And so you had parents pulling up here. So instead of the adults in charge saying, this could be a safety issue, let's get more people out there for the next couple months and just enforce and remind parents they're not allowed to tell them to get back in the car and drive where they're supposed to. No, they didn't do that. They just let parents keep doing it. And unfortunately, the other day, a parent pulled up right here, dropped their kid out, and the kid ran back to give their dad a hug, and a bus hit the kid, and the kid unfortunately passed away because of the school's lack of oversight. How do people understand the rules? By enforcement. By enforcement. For example, my daughter went to school with her water bottle empty because she saw another person get their water bottle dumped out because the security guard was enforcing the rules. You're not allowed to bring any drinks into school. None. Only empty water bottles. So my daughter came home one day. She's like, Mom, the girl ahead of me in line this morning before we went through the metal detectors had to pour out her water bottle, and all she had was water in it. I'm like, why? She's like, well, I guess it's a rule. You're not allowed to bring drinks into school, but you can bring an empty water bottle and fill it up at the water fountain. That's how you learn rules. Sometimes there's so many rules, you just don't remember them until they're enforced. I think it is KP. I mean, okay, S, how do you feel about this, though? If the parents don't pursue any legal action against the school? How do you feel about that? You know what I mean? They're liable to follow their rules from the beginning. That's the problem. They got so lazy and they didn't want to go outside that they just let it be a free-for-all in a high traffic zone. Well, if they choose to be complacent and let the school get away with it, just know there's other schools in that district who operate the same way because they're lazy. Very lazy school district. Terrible school district. Terrible school district. Oh my God, it's a terrible school district. The laziest people I've ever seen. That's a terrible thing because I worked in public education for 7 years. I loved and admired all of my hardworking coworkers. Jamestown Public School District, lazy, pure lazy. And there's really not much to change other than the fact, get back in the swing of things and enforce your rules appropriately. Not if they don't have assigned head counts outside. You know what I mean? If they need to be, this is what needs to be investigated. Was the school actually providing oversight and assigning 12 individuals to be on the outskirts, on the sidewalk, accompanying students in that window of time? No, I didn't work in Jamestown Public Schools. I worked in Pennsylvania. You know what else they need to do? They need to get rid of cell phones in Jamestown Public Schools because that's another lawsuit waiting to happen. That is another lawsuit waiting to happen. I've said it. Who remembers back on TikTok in 2022 and in 2023, I said this public school district is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Who remembers this? Hi, Leap Year. Really, Katie? That's crazy. Because students in Jamestown Public Schools use their phones every day and they open their cameras and they bully each other and they record each other in restrooms, locker rooms. Don't believe me? Hang on. Hold on. Let me look something up real quick. Look, there's a whole story on the snap map. Look at this. Hang on. Recording students without their permission. Hold on. Recording inside. Let's see if there's any more. Yeah. There's another building attached to that called the Tech Academy. Let me see if I can find that. Oh yeah, kids use their phones in that school. And I'll actually keep an eye on this one because, yeah, that's another lawsuit waiting to happen. No, no, the school should take phones away in the morning so that kids aren't, they're children. They don't have their brains aren't developed. Their frontal lobes, their decision-making part of their brain, their cerebral cortex, whatever it's called, is not developed. So you have to take the phones away before the day starts. That's what they need to do. So if it's against the rules to use your phone in school, take the phones away and give them back at the end of the day. That's how you enforce the rule. No, it's not. It's not illegal to take phones away. No, it's not. That's a lie. My children's school collects phones every morning before they enter the building. They're outside. They drop their phone in a bucket. The phone goes on a phone. The phones go in little cubbies on a phone cart. It's organized. They cart the phone cart up to the phone room, and then at the end of the day, all the students are hand-delivered their cell phones. That's how you enforce a no phone policy with the utmost integrity and hold to your standards. Thank you, Lemon, for moderating my chat. Everyone, I'm ready to change the subject now. Thank you for letting me vent and all of the above. And just keep it in mind, YouTube has gifted a lot of you rubies. If you check your gift box, you might have gotten some free rubies. I have to put this in the sink. I'll be right back. And I have to blow my nose. Right, but if they don't understand it, there should always be people there to say, nope, go back in the car, drop them off where you're supposed to. Since there's a lack of oversight, there's always going to be people who just do it because they don't know any better. So it's not the parents' fault, it's the school's lack of oversight. Gonna be battling on favorite app soon. Ordered a vegan calzone. Hang on. I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys. I want a paddle. Okay. I just cut up my vegan calzone like this. I'll go on favorite app and battle after I'm done eating. Is what a bot. Hi, Sherry. What's up? Please subscribe to chat. Everyone, take a moment to hit the thumb up button. Like the live stream, react on the bottom right. Thanks, Sherry. Hi, Stassi. Oh, hang on a second. Okay, you said looking festive. Thanks, guys. Hi, I'm here. I just had to talk to my daughter. Ooh, got vegan pepperoni, mushrooms, marinara sauce. Uh-oh. Hi. No, I was talking to my daughter. Most people eat calzones with their hands, but I'm not in the mood. Hot. Subscribe to chat. Thumb up the live stream. React on the bottom right. Check your gift box to see if you got free rubies. Thank you. I'm gonna slowly get some more and more decorations. My daughter got me in the mood to decorate. Was it yesterday? No, it was Sunday. Whoosh. When I had cats, they did that in the beginning, but they didn't continuously do it. I think everyone with cats has had a cat knock down a Christmas tree once or twice. They learn not to. Don, isn't the internet awesome? That's awesome. I sliced up a vegan calzone into like sticks. That's funny, Stassi. The girl cat I had would do that. The more marinara, the better. Heidi, how are you? Hello, Heidi. I got these on Amazon. Uh-oh. A vegan calzone with vegan ricotta cheese. Whoa. Thanks. It's red with white frosted tips. Needs more marinara. I don't know if Lemon's here, but I'm gonna send Lemon a message. I don't know where my phone went. My other phone. I'll just send her a message on this phone. Everyone subscribe to chat. If you don't, oh, I forgot my fork. If you don't see the chat option, it's because you have to become a subscriber. So that means just follow me to chat. Hang on. Where the heck did my other phone go? That was the one I was going to battle on. I don't know where I put it. Oh my God. Hi. Yeah, the thing is, though, you can't donate to those charities unless they're live streaming. Like rubies. Like you can only use rubies when someone's live streaming. So you have to like somehow, like I don't really know how that's possible. Do food pantries live stream? Or are you guys confusing super thanks? Because you can give people super thanks in their comment section. Was there like a live streaming food pantry? Did you find that? No, that's just what I'm wondering. That's awesome though. It really is. I just have never seen a food pantry live streamer. If so, what's their name? I used to love helping people get groceries. I used to do Instacart orders for people. I would order them vegan groceries. Oh no. Thank you, Butterfly. Those gifts are all super cute too. Wait, why did I put it there? Honestly, I think it's fine. One. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible. Lemon, are you here? That sucks. Okay. Whoa. Lemon, did you see my DM? Thanks, Lemon. It's really weird that people sexualize me when I'm eating. I'll never understand that one. No. I don't understand why all these people in the comments on my Facebook are saying I'm making money off of sharing a video on my Facebook. Please, where's that energy towards the news stations who aren't even sharing the GoFundMe? I don't understand how they think I'm making money off of my video. That doesn't make sense. I'll never understand it. The story infuriated me, period, point blank. And I had a reaction just like thousands of other people did. Like, what are they dumb? I don't see them, Lemon. I mean, I can expand it. It's a news story that I have an opinion about because I've seen how negligent that public school district is. Yeah, it's annoying, Cheryl. I think I gave a very insightful, educated, just overall layout. Delete what? It's just dumb. I'm not making posts for money. I'm sharing my educated opinion. I don't delete the comments. You can go click view all. Half you people will see 86 comments, but it's showing you top comments, most commented, or whatever. You have to filter it and click all comments, and then you'll see all the comments. It's really annoying that I have to explain that. It's 2025. It's a comment filter that's automatically set that way. What, Georgia Peach? It has nothing to do with money. I'm helping them make money for their GoFundMe. That's not true, Cheryl. The news stations make money off of their videos, and they didn't even share the GoFundMe link. Make what, 50 cents on a Facebook post? Be so for real. Hang on. Thanks, Lisa. I spent hours making that educated video, giving really insightful, intellectual information, helpful and beneficial and resourceful. These people are jealous of my intellect. Just a bunch of low IQ TikTok trolls. Saying I'm making money because I made a Facebook video telling the truth, giving insight from an educator's perspective who studied the law. Yeah, they're instigating. I'm not making money off of a news story. I'm sharing my educated perspective. Hang on. If I wanted to make money off of news stories, I would make a playlist called News Stories, and I would post news. This story triggered me and infuriated me because of how negligent the school is. And the real ones who've been following me know that I have been complaining about their out-of-control traffic setup, lack of transportation for years. Even Amy would concur and attest to that statement. I don't do that, Teresa. It was in my hometown. It was in my news feed. Thank you, Ray. And Lemon. Ray, what do you think? Like, these people are so jealous of me. It's just that simple. I'm skilled, I'm educated, and I'm smart. It's just that simple. You have to be unattractive if you're smart. If you're a woman. If you're a woman, you have to be unattractive, unappealing. You can't look good. You can't take care of yourself. You have to look bad to be smart. Because if you have both wits, intellect, humor, education, and skills, and you look good, it makes people rage. If I were a man, they'd be all over it. How many other people have posted about this? It's these people, they're just jealous of me. It's crazy. They think, oh, she's just trying to get money and attention. No, I am very insightful on this subject. As it's bothered me and triggered me, it's infuriated me for years. And I've always had the same thing to say. Becker, have you ever heard of Title 34 up until this morning when you saw my video? No, probably not. Therefore, I educated you, and I am smart. I got an A+ in all my college courses, except for chemistry and philosophy, and criminal justice law. I studied my special education law cover to cover. I got an A+. Thank you. It's not studying the law to do. When you are in secondary education, you have to take special education law for your degree. No, I only have 120 college credits. Nobody understands my sarcasm. Thank you, Ray. That's not what happened, though. Do you want me to tell you the story? Sorry, guys. It's a really good vegan calzone. I'm almost done. I haven't had one of these in months. Because they're jealous of me. If I were some bum, haggard-looking woman with, like, the brain of Einstein, %70 of them wouldn't even watch my videos, and the other 30% would watch them and be like, oh, what a sweet old woman. Thank you, MMA. Because I'm smart and I look good. That's why they're jealous. That's probably why they're jealous of Empty Fashion Co. too. But then again, men have it different in this world. People with a strong skill set are always the ones to get bullied in the workplace and school too. If someone were actually 400 pounds, you wouldn't sit here and call them 400 pounds. You would feel bad and be like, you're beautiful just the way you are. That's what you would do. Okay, I'm done. Woo! That was good. Oh my god. Oh, it was so good. The vegan pepperoni was good. The banana peppers were good. The marinara sauce was good. The herbs on the crust were good. The water is gonna be so good. King, I have an earful for you. How long can you watch? Dawn, if you were vegan and that calzone were in front of you, oh, you'd slam that whole thing. I promise you, you would, baby. You would just, ah. Oh my God, my daughter decorated her bedroom and it looks so cute. She put all these little string lights around, like these icicle Christmas lights. Looks like a fairy room. King, it's crazy. How long do you have? Did you watch my YouTube video today? The long form 14-minute video, it's a yellow thumbnail. Whew. It says, tragic walk to school, New York State's tragic lack of accommodation. Did you watch that? Guys, subscribe to chat. You have to subscribe to chat. Oh, okay. Well, oh, I don't know if I have the energy to tell this story again. Remember I was living in Jamestown, New York? No, you don't, because you started watching me. I used to live in New York. Before I was in Buffalo, I was in a smaller city called Jamestown for 2 years with my kids. And the school district sucked so bad. Like, they had no transportation for students. The cars were driving like maniacs, dropping kids off literally anywhere. Most of the kids were walking in blizzards. There were no snow days. Kids weren't wearing coats. It was total chaos. I used to get on TikTok and vlog the whole thing as evidence and say this is cruel. You need to provide students with school buses. Football Dad, where are you from? How'd you find me? YouTube? Or did you find me from YouTube or Facebook? Good, Georgia. Not all of the ones I saw did. But anyway, so nonetheless, let me just tell you a little bit about Jamestown. There's about 4,500 students, 500 faculty members, give or take. We'll just say like between students and faculty, 5,000 people either walking or driving to 11 different schools every day between like 7:30 and 9 a.m. every morning. I think school starts at 8:30 out there. But anyway, this is in New York. Hang on, I need more water. I'm sorry. I just ate a whole calzone, so I'm like dehydrated right now. I'm 34. Okay. So, nonetheless, I know I live in Pittsburgh now, but when I was living there, I used to spread awareness that the school should be providing transportation because some families don't have cars, and I don't like seeing this, driving my kids to school every day. I feel like a piece of crap driving by all of these kids, sopping wet, and the worst part of it all is that when the kids will get to school, walking through freezing rain, they would have to stand outside until the doors unlocked when the bell would ring, and the adults would just be there behind the window. There was never anyone outside. Crossing guards, nope. I never saw a single crossing guard every morning when I would drop my kids off. Now, granted, that was middle school, but there was no oversight. I moved out of Jamestown in 2024, moved to Buffalo, and then I moved to Pittsburgh. And the other day I saw a news article on Facebook that infuriated me. A child got hit by a bus when her parents dropped her off to school. She ran to go give her dad a hug, and unfortunately that happened. And so I didn't have time to research laws and stuff like that yesterday. I had time to sit down today and put together a video just highlighting so many things, especially one being Title 34 child fine. That's Section B in IDEA. That's a legislation called IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Educational Act. You don't know if kids have disabilities. It's just the whole point. I get into how it's a liability for school districts to not provide transportation. It's just a liability. It's smarter to just rule out that gray area and provide students with transportation. And all of that aside, provide your premises with oversight. So what happened was, this school, I'll show you a picture of like the premises, has a rule that's not being enforced or followed. Therefore, it's a forgotten rule. And here's the forgotten rule. The forgotten rule is when you bring your kids to school, that's the front of the building, but you are, according to the rules, supposed to drop your kids off in the back of the school. So parents should drive here, enter the parking lot, drop them off, go this way, and leave. Or they can go here, drop them off, go that way. Here, drop them off, and go that way. Or they can go here, or they can go here, drop them off, go that way. You know what I mean? Like there's one way you're supposed to drop off your kids, and it's to go up this street, get into the parking lot, drop them off, and drive away. However, since there's no busing, there's a ton of traffic because there's so many parents. And the school quit providing oversight. Hardly any crossing guards, if any. And there's no heads out there. There's no teachers out there to accommodate and enforce the rules. So the forgotten rule where you're supposed to go in the parking lot and drop off your kids turned into this. Parents pulling up on the side of the street, letting their kids off. Parents pulling over on a really busy street, dropping their kids off. Parents pulling up on a really congested street full of parents going in and out of the parking lot, dropping their kids off. And the school was so lazy that they did not enforce the rule. And the other day, unfortunately, someone pulled over, dropped off their kid. She went to run back to give her parent a hug, and she was hit by a car, a bus, another school bus from a different district. Now, had there been a crossing guard or another adult, they would have told the adult, nope, put her back in the car, drive around, and bring her to the back of the building where you're supposed to go. That is how it should be. There should be multiple adults saying, nope, you can't pull over here, go to the parking lot. You know, once we're adults, once we get in the habit of doing something, it's not that hard for us to follow a rule. We don't want problems. But the school was negligent to do that. And so people were in the habit of just pulling off on these streets, this busy road, dropping their kids off. And the worst part is that after this happened, they're just accepting the school's apology and lack of oversight. And it's just going to continue like this. And there's other schools that, all of the schools operate this way. And I made a video explaining how this family has a state and federal lawsuit on their hands. And I didn't know they had a GoFundMe until after I uploaded the video. And so I readjusted my caption on Facebook and shared the GoFundMe link. And then I made another video explaining I found out there's a GoFundMe. And I even said, extend it, make it a higher amount so you could sue them. And then like all these people turned on me. It's like, what? It's crazy, King. It's crazy. My kids didn't go to that school. They went to a different school. I followed the school's directions, and I was not happy with the directions the school gave me because the school where my kids went to in Jamestown, luckily they're not there anymore. Major cities have buses, and that's what Buffalo's like and Pittsburgh's like. But Jamestown doesn't. So they said that there's a 7th grade door, an 8th grade door, 6th, 5th grade door, and they required us to, I'll show you if I can find the school on a map. It was really bad setup, honestly. I disagreed with it. I didn't like it. I actually went against it, and I brought my kids into the parking lot, and it wasn't until an adult yelled at me that I can't keep dropping them off in the parking lot. Like, this actually happened. Let me find the school. Hang on. That I started to have to just listen to what they said, even though their rule was stupid. So this was the school my kids went to. King, you can just go ahead and mute all the negative comments. So this is what it was like in the school when my kids were going here. It makes sense that you just use the parking lot, because if you look, this is like a loop. So it's one way. You just enter. That's the front door, and you exit. But these morons said, no, I think that's the 5th grade door and 6th grade door. And then there's a 7th grade door and 8th grade door. Or no. 5th grade door, 6th, 7th, 8th. I kept going here. And at one point, I was going here, and then they would just walk down and enter the front door. But then they got yelled at that they're not allowed to enter through that door because that's the 5th grade door. And so I went up front one time because I didn't even believe my kids. I'm like, there's no way. And they yelled at me. I can't remember the doors, though, because it was like... So I had to follow their stupid rules and drop my kids off here, which is off street and dangerous. And the people were driving like maniacs. I would go right here every day. I would see a bunch of kids walking through horrendous conditions. And I would actually pull in this car's driveway, and I would let them off right here, and they'd get out. Because I'm not going to let them risk. These people were driving like crazy. But I did not like that. I'm sure the neighbors didn't like that. And not me. They never said anything to me. I just would assume that you have a front door. You have a full parking lot with another door. Be safe and use your parking lot. They are the stupidest school district in the world. Thank you, King. It is chaotic, but no. So my kids didn't go to the school where the accident was, and I really hope though that the family files a lawsuit against the school district, because the school district needs to be held accountable for being negligent. And I even wrote a list of the state laws I feel were violated, in my opinion, that I am entitled to have per my First Amendment right. According to my First Amendment right and my dissent, it is my opinion that these are the rules the school district broke. First of all, state laws. No adequate code of conduct for supervision on school grounds. Schools must prevent foreseeable harm like traffic accidents through proper oversight. Failure to provide safe access or accommodations, including traffic controls if transport needed. That's the core of it. So they failed these 3 things because, again, instead of enforcing the rules of you have to go to the parking lot where it's safe, they were just letting it slide. Thank you, MMA Fighter and King. Oh, King, all these trolls are coming after me, and I'm just ignoring it. So, I'm just staying positive, and thank you so much. Football Dad, are you from Jamestown? Thank you, King. It was evil what those teachers would do. They would just stand by the door and watch the kids outside get poured on and just leave the door locked until the bell would ring. They're in freezing weather conditions, by the way. Like your temperature is Celsius. Ziggy, go watch my video. All of your answers are in my most recent video. Oh, football dad, you're in Jamestown. That's cool. Hang on. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so you're Celsius. So let me just ask Google really quick. What is 10 degrees Fahrenheit converted to Celsius? So that is -12, -13, -14 degree temperatures, -8. They would be out there in the freezing rain after they walk to school. Sometimes not even wearing a coat. Some of them will be in hoodies. They'd be sopping wet. And like these sadistic faculty people would just stand there by the door while I'm sitting in the car with my kids waiting for the doors to unlock. You know, but those kids didn't have that privilege, you know what I mean? And those people who worked at Jefferson Middle School would just stand there and they wouldn't open the door every fucking day. They wouldn't have snow days. They wouldn't have delays on these days. Kids would be slipping and falling. One time I saw a kid wearing gym shoes, jeans, or like a red long sleeve shirt, sopping wet with his backpack dripping. He slipped and fell and busted his ass on freezing rain because it hits the ground. He got back up. He walked. He slipped again. He just kept slipping. Stands by the door. It's locked. I have never seen such a sadistic group of people. I worked for public school for 7 years. The first year I was a substitute and a volunteer at preschool. I worked in middle school for like 6 years. Never were students locked out. For, I would say, 4 years, I got the early shift. I would get there 6:45, 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m., 6:45. They waited in the gymnasium. We would just have all the students wait in the gymnasium. There would be 2 or 3 aides and... Oh, that's Celsius. So like 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I have their GoFundMe posted, and I hope they raise a lot of money from all of these people who have watched my perception of the story. And I wish that family nothing but the best. I really hope they know that they deserve justice. Their child deserves justice. I also hope that they know, that the family knows that they have a very, very powerful choice to make. And if they choose to pursue legal action and file a lawsuit, federal lawsuit and state lawsuit against the school, that they can make a powerful impact to help benefit the lives of other children in the future and ensure their safety so that school policies and state standards are adhered to. They don't have to agree with me. I don't know. I've never spoken to them. I haven't seen anything they said. Hang on a minute. I don't know who they are. I don't know. I haven't talked to them. I don't know who they are. I don't live there. I'm assuming they're much younger than me. But I just want to put the message out there, though, that it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop with a negligent school district saying, I'm sorry. Okay? Because if you let that slide and you make excuses for that negligent behavior, the mistake will repeat itself. I haven't deleted any comments on my Facebook. They're just filtered. So if you go to my Facebook, and I'll show you an example right now. I know you guys might not look at Facebook a lot to understand, but so like if I have a post and there's, for example, like 100 comments, you're only going to see maybe 30 because the comments get automatically filtered. That doesn't mean that I've deleted comments. You just have to press the button. I'm trying to scroll. Hang on. I'm not receiving any money, but I hope they receive 100K and sue the shit out of that public school. And they could be well on their way. You never know. Stories like this, especially stories that are covered by influencers, tend to spark interest, and you never know. Okay, so we'll just use this as an example. So this video, 90 comments. If you click on the comments, you're not going to see all the comments because it's showing relevant comments. So it's going to end right here at the bottom, and it's going to look like Adrielle deleted comments. Let's see where it ends. See? It looks like I deleted comments. But if you scroll back up and press that filter button, go like this and do newest or all comments, you will now see all of the comments, and there's a lot of them. So again, Adrielle is not deleting comments. Adrielle is live streaming on YouTube. I haven't even read the comments yet, so thank you so much. I have not even seen a comment from a woman named Carolyn, honey, but thank you for being a member. You saw comments that existed that are now gone. I mean, I can't say that my mod like Lemon or some other people who read my comments didn't report the comments and then the comments may have been removed by Facebook. I don't know. Thank you so much. Again, this is my opinion on a public news story, and lots of other news stations have shared this who received way more traction for the best reason of all being to help support the family. It would be nice, though, if those news stations could please include the GoFundMe link so that the family can continue raising funds. And I really hope they pursue legal action. That's just my take on the whole thing, because anyone with an education like mine would see that this is, in fact, a federal case. Thank you. I'm an independent source. I'm a public figure, and I'm advocating for something that I feel passionate about, because, again, this is a topic that I had covered hundreds of times when I was living in Jamestown, New York. Anyone who's watched me for a long time, like Amy, will attest that I used to make literally hundreds of videos complaining about their messy traffic system, their lack of transportation, and how dangerous their system is. And then I find out a child died because of their lack of oversight and supervision and their lack of transportation. Yeah, I'm going to have an opinion. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe, and you don't have to donate. You don't have to. You don't. If you don't like the topic and you aren't happy with the GoFundMe link I shared, you don't have to click it or donate. It's just that simple. I'm not doing anything other than showing my support and showing my dissent towards the public school district. That's false. There's no way. That does. What are you talking about? Stop what? Stop what? Please tell me. Stop what? Calling out the school for being negligent? That has nothing to do with the family. The family should be on my side. Their child was the result of a tragic accident because of the school's lack of oversight. I'll talk about it until I see fit. You don't have to keep watching me. You can leave. Bye. If you're here to talk to me and be kind and spread positivity, you can continue commenting in my comment section. After all, this is subscriber chat only. This has nothing to do with the family and everything to do with the school district. The trolls and you people are creating that problem. That has nothing to do with me. I shared their link. I told people to donate. I even said they should raise $75,000. I have done nothing antagonistic towards the family in that regard. But they do, in my opinion, it would be a they would have a very strong impact if they could set a precedent and file legal action against the school. That's just my opinion. And who knows, now that my videos are out there, maybe a YouTuber attorney will see my content and give his 2 cents. I'm sure there's lots of attorneys on YouTube who would have an opinion about this. Too soon? Say that to all the news stations who shared the same story, Ashley. Say that to the news stations who are screenshotting pictures of the little girl and posting it to their news websites. Because that's just weird, in my opinion. I honestly felt uncomfortable sharing the GoFundMe because there was a picture of the girl on it, but I, out of respect for them, shared it because it's the right thing to do. Thank you, MMA fighter. Well, Ashley, you know exactly how I feel about that school district. They're dysfunctional. 43 buses for 11 schools for students who live more than 2 miles away and students with disabilities. Not for students who live less than 2 miles away without disabilities. I mean, the going rate for my videos on TikTok was about $550, yeah. So, yeah, me promoting their GoFundMe and sharing awareness to this news story out of the kindness of my heart has nothing to do with them and everything to do with the fact that school infuriates me. That's really not normal, and that's what leads to accidents. Yeah, well, you should definitely file a complaint with your state's Division of Human Rights for lack of public accommodation. Thanks, MMA. I'm on their side. I mean, assuming that someone would fight for justice for their child if a school was being negligent. That's just my opinion. I would assume most people, if their child were hurt or anything related of the sort, would pursue justice for their child. Ashley, if that happened to your child, would you want justice for your child because of a low-functioning, dysfunctional, negligent school district? That's I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't looked at Facebook in like 3 hours. I've been on YouTube. People post about me every day. It's nothing new. No, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm closer to Philadelphia than I am New York City. Actually, it's like the same distance. I'm like 5 or 6 hours. 6 hours. Thank you, Waltz, for the flower. Guys, YouTube is giving away free rubies this week. I've been talking about this all week. Check your gift box if you're in the United States. Free rubies for all. My battery's at 3%. And I'm at 2%. My phone's at 2%. So let's see if there's a charger next to me. Like an outlet. Yeah, there is. I'm going to go grab a charger. I don't have to put my phone on my tripod. I have good intent, and you can do no wrong when you have good intent. That school, on the other hand, has bad intent. They just want to sit there lazy, warm in their building, and not oversee any of the traffic or any of the students. Or it's a public safety issue, if anything. Terrible. How can they sleep at night? The crazy thing is, if nobody protests this tragedy, if nobody protests the school change, that the school starts to like change, if there's no like wave, if it's just all complacency, they'll keep operating the same way and they'll continue being a liability. It looks like I have a star on my head. Their lack of oversight will continue to be a liability for this public safety. My Facebook post? There's a bunch of them. Which one? They're all there. Yeah. You can have good intent in your own. I'm not doing anything to devastate anyone. I'm on their side. I don't think it's their fault. I think the school is negligent. So I don't know where you're getting that from. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's the parents' fault, but there have been several people in my chat who have said that, and I've argued with them. I made the comparison to, for example, I used roller coasters as a comparison. I said, when you get on a roller coaster, you have to have a ticket, see if you're the right height, if you are tall enough or over the required height minimum. You have to wait in line. You have to wait your turn. When you think it's your turn and all the seats are filled, you have to wait your turn again. You can't just squeeze in between people. Once you get in your seat, pull the thing down, the bar in front of you, and an attendant comes by to check your seatbelt. You put your seatbelt on, and you go on the roller coaster, and you don't fly out because an attendant made sure everyone's seatbelt was fastened. And then someone in the chat argued and said, well, what if someone takes their seatbelt off after the roller coaster takes off. I'm like, that's a fucked up thing to say. It's just a fucked up thing to say. Because at the end of the day, when rules are enforced, people follow them. They respect rules. But if people see that rules are or it can be bent and there's like wiggle room. So like I said, if you are a group of kids and you're waiting in line to get on a roller coaster and you see a mother and father squeeze their 5-year-old between them on the roller coaster, your group of friends are gonna be like, oh, we can do that. Next thing you know, you and your friends hop in, you squeeze your friend in between, and that's because the attendant is letting it slide. And then he lets it slide for months until someone falls out and dies. Is it the attendant's fault? No, it's their boss's fault, because their boss is the one who's supposed to oversee all their subordinates. And that's the same way I feel about this public school. Ashley, thank you. No, I think it happened within the yesterday or the day before. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not antagonizing the family in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, they're really weird. I don't know what else to say. King, you can mute all these trolls. You have my permission. Just mute away. Yeah, this happened in Jamestown, New York. I don't know what you're talking about, Ashley. Nobody has contacted me. Ashley, I have not gone on favorite yet today. I am 100% with you right now. That's a fact. I was supposed to be on there like 2 hours ago. Thank you so much. This account Evie just joined YouTube. Their channel was formed literally 2 minutes ago. It's probably a TikTok troll who got banned. I don't, Ashley. Thank you so much for saying that. I said, what, 50 cents off a Facebook video? Like, what? I spent hours making that video, by the way, because the phone kept crashing, and then the other phone crashed, and I had to record it again. I actually spent an hour making the first 2 videos that crashed. I took a shower, came back when the sun rose, because I'd been up since like 6:30. When the sun rose, and I didn't even blow dry my hair or live stream at all today. And I made that video, and I had to make it on 2 videos, and I had to merge the videos and then add subtitles. But I had to look up all the laws, and I already have education regarding special education law. That was a no-brainer. But I just wanted to tie everything together on how I really want to focus on the school more than the family, because I wanted to emphasize, and Ashley, did you watch my 14-minute video? I wanted to emphasize how schools providing public transport reduces all of this. It just rules all of this out. And by failing to accommodate students with transportation, you have risks of accidents, congested traffic, and so on. Ashley, can I call you? Can I call you on Instagram and you can just pop off? Like, I'll call you right now. I won't put you on speaker. Hi, Sebastian. I don't know if I can battle right now. I'm like processing something that infuriated me. Oh, no answer. Thank you, Ashley. That's how it is in my city, and that's how it was in Buffalo. There's no exploitation here. This is just a school district that really pisses me off because of how dysfunctional they operate. Thanks, Ashley. They all lied. I was not whatsoever disrespecting the family. Ashley, did you watch my 14-minute video? It's this one right here. I don't know if you've had time. Hi, John. Let me check and see if you watched this one right here. Did you see that? Whoa, 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 whoa. The one that's the yellow one. Thank you, MMA fighter. It's just my most recent one. You just go to my channel, click videos, and it's gonna be an ad, but
a 4-year-old girl was
this one.
hit by a bus and killed while walking to school in Jamestown.
Do you want me to play the video? Wait, who saw it? I'll play it for you guys if you want me to. Oh, you saw it already? Okay. Oh yeah, they're evil, King. I never called the family trash, ever. That's a lie. I called the trolls trash in my chat, who got banned. That's crazy. I would not say that about the family. I'm talking about the school district more so than the accident that happened. I haven't discussed the family, because the family isn't the problem. It's the school district and their negligence. That's the problem. Their lack of oversight and supervision, in my opinion. Butterfly, it's all on my Facebook, and yeah, all of you guys donate to their GoFundMe. If I were trash talking the family, why would I be telling people in my community to donate? That doesn't make any sense. I know, Ashley. I know. I don't think they did, but 2 miles, up to 2 miles. It's disgusting, Ashley. You must not have followed me on TikTok a couple years ago, because before I started like battling with other influencers, I was making content, and I made videos like every single day complaining. What's wrong, Butterfly Kisses? I'm not it's all over the news. That's how I learned about it. It was in the news, in my news feed. Thank you, Ashley. I've been extremely supportive. Not towards the school. I blame the school. I told my son the story before I started this live stream. About 15 minutes before I started my live stream, I told him the whole story. I said, who do you think was at fault? He said, the school, because they didn't have anyone out there to supervise. I'm like, thank you. That's literally the first law on my list that, in my opinion, the school violated. I think that anyone would have a strong distaste toward that school district because they were responsible, in my opinion, for the death of one of their students. When you see viral videos of daycare employees slapping little toddlers around, do you get angry at the daycare facility and have a strong distaste? What are you talking about? That's true, Ashley. That's very true. In my expert opinion, having experience in the field of education and university hours in the field of the major secondary education, yeah, that's my opinion. There was a lack of oversight and supervision, Mandy, because of the fact alone that parents were not being enforced to follow drop-off protocols. Go out there. You go to the schools every day. Go look for yourself. They're still going to be doing it. The school won't change. Until they get slapped with a $1 million lawsuit, that school district is not going to change. And this is a very important situation that can be addressed through fucking federal court if the family pursues legal action. That's why their GoFundMe should be to like 100K, and they should file a lawsuit, federal and state lawsuits against this school district to prevent this public safety issue where they are failing to provide oversight to their traffic areas around their premises and pointing. Are you dumb? Like, I've said this like 3 times. They need to manually be out there and tell parents, you cannot pull over here, put the kid back in the car, go to the appropriate drop-off. After about a month or 2, the parents will all get in the habit and the routine of going to the parking lot. And if they have to wait in a long line, they have to wait. Stick it out. It's safer. Because this school failing to supervise and provide oversight is, number 1, being lazy, and 2, they're a public safety risk. It's not a freak accident. Freak accidents happen when people are failing at their jobs, failing to do their jobs and follow standards. I said this earlier when I gave the example of a public swimming pool. Freak accidents happen when someone's not paying attention. Don't you dare blame the parents. The state of New York has more than enough money to fund buses and safety programs. Like, they're slacking if there's not enough adequate buses. Thank you, King. The city's just failing from every angle possible. The GoFundMe said freak accident? It's not. It's negligence from the school district. It's not a freak accident. Give me an example of a freak accident. Me too, Julie. I did both at one point or another. I did the before school for like 3 years. Indoors. I was indoors. And then for about the other 2 or 3 years, I was doing after school bus duty. There were always adults outside. Always. Like 6 of them. On a rotation. I wasn't rotating because I was always indoors. But the other faculty members rotated outdoors. I never had to do outdoors. I would have. I just never did outdoor. I helped sometimes if I saw fit. You should be looking out for each other. Part of your job is to be outside. What are they, fucking scared of the rain? Are they scared of the snow? Are they scared of the clouds? Like, what are you doing? Are you sitting in there fiddling around at your desk when there's the work to be done outside? Like, it's the oversight issue for me. I worked in the general ed room and the special ed room too. Both rooms. I assisted with math, science, geography predominantly. Sometimes I was in the ELA and reading rooms. Not often. I was a witness to this when I lived there. This was my hometown. Nope, that's not true. Say that to my work schedule. I don't know what to say. I was assigned each classroom every year. I was not a substitute. I was a paraprofessional in contract in the union. Highly qualified at that because I had 120 credits, but only 90 applied towards my degree and I never finished. So I have 90 college credits towards what would have been a bachelor's in secondary education, which is why they preferred me in the math and science rooms, because I was pursuing a double major in biology. I didn't witness it, Ashley. Yeah, they're taking it out of context for sure. Thanks, John. There won't be change if there's no lawsuit. It's just that simple. That's the truth. There will not be change if there's no winning lawsuit. Fuck, even if they lost it. I never said I witnessed anything. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you know that. How could I have witnessed it? I have witnessed, when I lived there, crazy traffic patterns, lack of oversight, lack of crossing guards. I've witnessed in Jamestown Public Schools, erratic traffic driving. Oh God, the list goes on and on. That woman has never contacted me. That's a lie. I have not been contacted by them. You guys are lying. I went to Chicago May of 2023 and I liked it, but it was cold and raining. I went for Cinco de Mayo, but I actually just ended up going to a punk music venue, which was epic. Like every night when I was there, it was a really great music venue. I don't know who that is. Because I had to move. My ex and I broke up and I moved out of Pennsylvania into New York. Yes, they are, John. They have a really good variety of music venues. I really liked it there a lot. I mean, if that's how you perceive it, that's not how I perceive it. The GoFundMe's on my Facebook like 6 times. I posted it on like all my posts. I mean, I don't know if they're really doing that, Ashley. I don't even know. Who, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I didn't see anything. Hang on. Hey everyone, thank you so much. I have to go because I have to battle MD Fashion Co. I just realized it's 8:30 p.m. and I have not battled at all today. So I'll be on favorited app. Yes, King. Thank you, King. And DM me if you see anything you guys find interesting on my Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Facebook. Ashley, not that I'm aware of, but I have not checked Facebook in like 3